know, we used to chill in the hood. You made me feel that tingle in my heart like nobody could. And all alone we stood.
Yo, what's up? Welcome to Aphrodisiac TV. But, today we're going to call it AFA for short. And we got Southstar in the building. Woo!
Yay! The COVID clap.
Thank you. Did you say what?
The COVID clap. Can't have audience.
Okay. I got you. Okay.
No audience.
Don't do that. I'll put sound effects on it. Don't do me like that, man. Okay, so what I know you from hearing that song Tell Me, and I was like really young. I was like, dang, yo, I ain't never seen no, like, it's like Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker together, but they just doing music. I fuck with that. So, and I was like, okay. I would literally play that shit over and over. I looked forward to looking at 106 in Park and all that stuff to see you on there. So I'm going to ask you a few questions now that you're here.
Cool. And just so for the record, I was really, really young then too.
Okay. How old was you? How old was you?
That was my 20s.
You were in your 20s.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So now you're in your 30s. All right. Let's let it go. All right. So the first thing I wanted to ask you, okay, is what happened to the duo? What happened to Smiles and Southstar?
I mean, nothing happened to Smile Southstar. I mean, we just, time went by and we just, we got into other ventures and, me and Smiles are still really tight. We still do stuff here and there. Mm-hmm. But, the music thing, at some point it was just, we found different careers and found something that we enjoyed doing after music. So,
what's that?
Make money,
That's a good answer. Okay, so do you have any regrets?
Not at all.
No?
No regrets.
Okay.
We had a great run, and everything that we, to me, there.
Did you go on tour or anything like that?
Oh, yeah. We toured probably nonstop.
I was too young to know about tour and shit.
Yeah, we toured nonstop for almost like 2 years.
Okay.
Straight. So,
how was that?
Fun. A lot of fun. We got, look, the music took us to places we probably would never go. To think all these years later, I'm sitting here talking about it. So, the music has been timeless. I still get a lot of love for the Tell Me record. So definitely no regrets, man.
You look like you was on one in that video.
Huh?
Was you on one, be honest?
Nah. It was early morning when we shot
that. Really?
For sure.
Y'all was in the club early morning?
7 a.m. we started that.
That's commitment. All right, so who's your favorite rapper, your mainstream artist right now that you're just like, yo, I can't get them out of my head?
Current or like all time? You want someone
current?
All right, so my favorite artist current, I'm gonna give you a couple different ones only because it's different vibes. But
let's go.
In 20, I mean, honestly, of all the artists out right now, Drake. To me, Drake Jay-Z is my all-time favorite. Drake, I think musically is getting really close to Jay. On a music level, maybe not.
They do brag a lot. They brag a lot. They brag the same.
But if you talk about the younger kids right now, maybe a new artist, my favorite new artist is probably Roddy Ricch. I like Roddy.
He came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I like Roddy Ricch.
He came out. Okay, so now, where were you when YouTube blew up?
YouTube blew up. Well, I know it was definitely after. We were out because back then we didn't have no social media, no Apple Music, no streaming platform.
Yep.
You were still downloading music on Napster or Kazaa and all that, LimeWire and all that stuff. Man, YouTube was probably late 2000s, right? When it started. Mm-hmm. So.
Who uploaded your video? You uploaded it?
No, the funny thing is the Tell Me video that's out there that has 6 million views.
Yeah.
I don't know who uploaded it, man, but if I need to find out. I didn't get none of that.
Yo, track down that IP. Yeah. Track it down. You are Asian, so I know you got somebody, man. I know you got somebody for
but
it.
YouTube's a dope platform, man. I mean, I wish I would have knew about a lot of that stuff earlier and maybe jumped on it early. I'm really good friends with Timothy De La Ghetto, who's huge on there. Well, he goes by his real name now. I'm not going to butcher his last name. But he taught me a lot about YouTube.
Yo, shout out to Timothy De La Ghetto. You'll be commenting and chatting on my Aphrodisiac dating on IG. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, shout out to Tim.
Yeah.
But he told me a lot about. I actually learned a lot about YouTube from him, man, because I kind of just watched what he did, and I really wish I maybe would have jumped on it early. But I think around that period, I actually was kind of in like a transition mode where it was like I didn't know if I really wanted to do music on that kind of level capacity anymore. I love music. I'm gonna always make music, you know, whether it's just me at home listening to it or not. But it was just kind of like, you know, after doing music for basically from like 2001 to 2008, 2009, talking 7-8 years, you know, where that's all I did. You know, kind of going through that transition. You know, 2008 the economy crashes, so everybody's kind of transitioning, and so I kind of stepped away from just doing music for a while. And then when I got back into it in like 2000, I think I last.
Tell me what you think is good. Sorry, my bad. I just started playing my head.
In 2013 or 14, I dropped a project called Red Envelope, which is actually on all the streaming sites as well.
All right, make sure to check that out.
Yeah. You know, I started actually connecting with a lot of these guys that do a lot of things on the YouTube and learning about it.
Nice.
And that's kind of like when I started at my own page and put some.
So how old were you on YouTube? I don't remember. You're like, bro, I don't know.
I can't even. I was probably like, you know, early 30s, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe
you was probably like, yo, this shit's gonna be major. Or were you not thinking that?
Again, I was kind of late to YouTube, you know, because I was away from kind of the whole thing.
Right.
But when I saw it, I was like, man, I was like, people really making money doing this, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is crazy. I really need to learn it. And like I said, I probably came late, where if I would have maybe jumped in the beginning, because you know, with social media, the one thing I've learned with all the different social media things, as far as YouTube or Instagram, you really want to get on it before it's popping. You kind of want to be like
TikTok.
Like my time was MySpace, right? MySpace, right?
That was too much though, man. All those codings and stuff.
But MySpace was, you know, kind of what put all these other platforms on, right? Because MySpace was like,
it's like the Don Julio
it's the, you know, this is social networking, like this is right. So what I learned about all of this, just a little tip for everyone. You want to get on the one before it's popping, because you kind of want to be like Tom on MySpace, for the people that know MySpace.
You want to be the first one there.
You want to be the first one there because you want, when everybody comes after, they're like, oh, who's this person? You were the first one there. Everybody's following each other.
Big facts.
You know, I kind of did Twitter when it was kind of before it popped off. I just didn't stay consistent with it.
I'm not consistent with Twitter. I don't have the Twitter fingers. Like, I just don't got it. I was gonna name drop a name of who got Twitter fingers, but I don't want to. So next question is, are you voting?
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, if you got the right to vote, man, you definitely want to vote. You know, especially with everything going on, definitely want to vote. You know, I don't like getting too political. Everybody has their own. Thank you. Everybody has their own political beliefs and their own opinions, and you know, nobody's right or wrong. But voting is, you know, it's the only way that you can get your voice heard. So, and it ain't just voting just this year because it's presidential, right? Like, I think people need to know that it's more than that. It's constantly voting. It's voting locally. It's voting for mayor. It's voting for, you know, every 2 years they change out the Senate and the House. You know, the people's terms that come up. So just being consistent with it, because you know, just because you vote, maybe the guy you want to vote for becomes president. You know, if the person that he doesn't have the people in place in the House or Senate, a lot of those things won't get passed. And you know, kind of what happened when Obama was in office. You know, it's a lot of things that they were kind of clashing.
Right.
But it's definitely important, man. If you haven't registered to vote and you're able to vote, definitely register.
You
definitely
heard it from the man.
Gotta vote.
Okay. All right. So, how did you find yourself? You know, you're Asian. I don't even know, like, what, like, are you, like...
So I'm Chinese. I'm half Chinese, quarter Filipino, quarter German. My dad's Filipino and German. My mom's Chinese.
Nice. And like, how did you did your parents listen to hip hop? Or
no, my parents.
How you get into it? They would go, do that makes my head go crazy.
They just didn't like hip hop, you know. Like I used to wear the baggy clothes when I was a kid, and they'd be like, "Why are you wearing that?"
You know that they would say, "You not black." That's what they would say.
No, they wouldn't. They would just you know, rap had a bad stigma when it first came out, right?
True. True.
You know, I grew up in LA, so how I got around into hip hop was really. I would probably say like early 90s, maybe late 80s. You know, I was still, you know, I was young, probably like early 90s, because maybe like when I was like around, you know, kind of like 10 or around there. My first introduction to hip hop, I would probably say is like Black Sheep, Choice Is Yours. You know, that record was crazy. You know, The Tribe Called Quest, you know, Scenario. And then growing up in LA, you know, NWA, Eazy-E, you know, Dr. Dre. It's funny, on my show last night, I'll do the plug later. But
yeah. Shameless plug for later.
Yeah, But I was actually having the same conversation about like just growing up, you know, being around hip hop. But you know, I love the culture. I loved everything about it. I used to graffiti. I used to do graffiti. I tried to learn how to DJ. Was terrible at it. Still terrible at it. Serato does help me sound a little better if I really focus.
Okay. I'm not going to your party. Okay.
But as far as rap now, I mean, you know, I would say Dr. Dre and Snoop, and then Wu-Tang, and then, you know, Tribe Called Quest. Those are probably like my first. Those are like my first CDs or tapes.
You wouldn't guess what my first CD is.
First CD
It was Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers from the 1950s. Okay. I had an old soul. I was 9, but I
rap,
needed
though.
it.
So what's the first rap? We talking hip hop. I mean, it wasn't my first CD.
I don't want to tell them about
Michael Jackson, Bobby Brown, like Paula Abdul. Like that was like when I was a kid.
Nas. And it was just, you know what I did? I just looked for whatever Nas I could find and download it. And I was just like, love this.
For Illmatic or?
It was Illmatic.
Okay.
But my parents are pastors. Mm-hmm. So they were like, that music makes my head go doom, doom, doom. Don't play music in my house. I had to hide what I listened to for a while.
Hip hop wasn't what it is now. Now it's okay. Now it's popular. It's in commercials. It's on TV. It's in movies and film. Back then, man, you know, I remember with Snoop, you know, gangster rap. Mm-hmm. You know, when Dr. Dre came out with the Chronic and Snoop did Doggy Style, like those were. You know, there was politicians like running over their CDs, like, you know, you shouldn't be listening to this. This is horrible. And that's where kind of the parental advisory logo came about. You know, they were like, you got to put this on there because they're cursing. You know, they talk about shooting police officers and gangbanging and all that. So it's crazy for me because it's like, you know, I was growing up in that kind of time.
Yeah.
And to see where hip hop has gone and where it's at now. And to have been able to be a part of it is dope.
Yeah, I bet. Okay, so what's the first thing you think about when I say #BLM? Black Lives Matter.
I know what BLM is.
Just make it short.
I think it's an important movement, you know, and I think society overall, I think, you know, all the social injustices and all that, again, I don't like getting too political because everybody has their own beliefs and opinions. But I think, and I've had conversations with people, I think that, you know, it's 2020. You know, it's a.
What does that mean?
What it means is it's, you know, it's time to progress, right? Like times change. You know, it's like music, right? Hip hop has changed and evolved over the years. You know, people now are rapping like Eric B and Rakim right now, or KRS-One right now, right? KRS-One, you know, isn't rapping like Roddy Ricch right now, right? Like
not at all.
Like things evolve, things change, times change, people change, society
you know
changes.
Who I appreciate though, low key? Not to like change the subject, but Drake somehow picks up like 5 different accents. Whoever he's around, he changes with every.
Drake is dope.
You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Yeah.
Dope.
But yeah, Black Lives Matter is.
I think it's just time to like really, you know, I think the problem is I think a lot of the stuff, you know, when it comes to laws, regulations, or just the way society thinks, is still old school, you know, and if we don't change with the times, then we're still stuck in the older times.
We're like cave people.
You know? Yeah, you got to change.
It's like cave times, people,
you know, and. You know, it's a lot of things. I think the other piece of that too is you know, personally I feel like hip hop to a certain extent. This is actually, you know, important. I think for my opinion when I say
let's go.
But I feel like, you know, in our culture, you know, we've also taught that, you know, it's, you know, kind of like if you grow up and you want to be a cop or something, like we kind of frown upon that, right?
Right.
I think we need to stop that because I think in order to really, you know, police the community, you need people from the community becoming the police officers so they can understand that they're not, you know, they don't go into the community scared. Because I think right now a lot of people policing the communities, they're not from the community. They don't know what it's like growing up there. They don't know how people talk. They don't know how people act. They don't know nobody. So when they go into a neighborhood, when you go into a neighborhood, you kind of on guard when you're not from the neighborhood. Yes. Even us, right? If I walk to another neighborhood, if I go to the hood,
especially the way you're dressed.
Well, I'm just saying, it's just, you know, you're going to be kind of on guard, like, oh, you know, you're kind of watching your back. I'm sure a lot of these police officers and these people that are in their policing the communities, they probably like that too because they're not from there. We definitely need more people, more programs to help some.
So when people say defunding the police, you be like, what the hell?
Nah,
I think it's crazy.
You can't. You can't get rid of
Can't
the
do
police,
it.
man. I mean,
We'd
be in a crazy society.
Oh, this is a podcast conversation.
We can't defund the police. I think there's different ways to I was reading, I think in Camden, New Jersey, they basically, what they did is they kind of changed their whole police force, right? And they learned more about community policing. So I think, and I want to say it was in Camden, New Jersey, but I read that, they turned it to where if you were hired as an officer or a cop, right? And you're assigned a community, your first thing you have to do on that job, you had to go door to door, introduce yourself to everybody. That's
definitely a good idea.
And because of this new way of doing it, and they said that their crime rate in Camden, New Jersey is
they're developing trust.
Yeah, they develop a lot of trust, but their crime rate has dropped substantially, and murder rates dropped substantially. And for people that know Camden, New Jersey at one time was like #1 murder capital, like in the
Wasn't that around? I want to say that had to be around 2006. No?
Probably, I would probably say around there
because it was rough. The stuff I was hearing. Now, to lighten up the mood.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. You trying to freestyle right now?
I don't even freestyle anymore.
I love your face right now.
I don't even really freestyle.
When was the last time you freestyled?
Man, it's been years.
Really?
It's been years, yeah. I mean, it's been.
Where your friends at?
Huh?
Call Smiles right now. This is a game. Call that.
I just don't really even, it just, like I said, listen, if you would have asked me back in early 2000, when I was coming up, man, I was hungry. I'd jump in every cipher and spit whatever.
So if I drop a beat right now, you.
She's saying, you probably gonna get out of me tonight.
Dang. How you gonna do me like that? Damn, I even wrote a whole.
I know you want.
Y'all, I even wrote a whole rhyme, y'all.
Oh, but go ahead. I ain't stopping you.
No, I don't want to rap with you no more.
I ain't stopping you.
Next question. Okay, so tell me the last time you did something that made you proud.
Anything?
Yeah.
Just anything or music or
music, family, whatever, bro.
Oh.
Last thing that made you proud. It don't gotta be music. Sometimes you take breaks from music.
You did something that made you proud.
Or made you, or was that something adventurous, something that you was like, yo, this is dope. I'm glad I did this.
I'll probably say this. I don't really ever feel like there's anything I do that makes myself proud, right?
Is that an Asian thing? Or?
I don't know.
I think it's an Asian thing.
But it's just, I don't know. I just, because I don't do it for that, right? I do things because, I want to do it, whether it's for my kids, whether it's for my family, whether it's for my friends. I just do it. It's not like, oh man, I'm proud of myself for doing that. I'm patting myself on the back for, doing that.
So when was
I think for me, it's more, I'm more proud of when I see my kids do things. Like when I see my, when I'm sitting there watching my son play baseball.
All grown up. Did you?
No, when I see my son playing baseball and, he hits the ball and he gets on base and he runs base, scores, that makes me proud because I'm like, man, he reminds me of when I was his age.
Aww.
Or my daughter, who's 3, just turned 3 in June.
Nice.
Says a new word that I'm like, or starts putting sentences together and you're like, dang, it makes me proud.
That's the proud moment.
That's the stuff that makes me
proud.
made
that though.
No, and maybe that's in turn, it's like, maybe, I'm teaching them the right way or doing whatever, and maybe that's something, but I think that's probably what makes me proud. When I'm never like, oh, I did this, I'm so proud of it. The one thing I will say I'm proud of is obviously what me and Smiles accomplished in music and what we did.
And the fact that I still like that song.
And what we did for the city,
Listen,
what we did for Orlando.
I was playing it the other day out of nowhere. This is before I even spoke to you.
Yeah.
I was like, at my friend's house, I'm like, yo, wouldn't it be tight? I just interviewed this cat. And my homie was like, man, yeah, you gonna do it, don't worry about it. 2 weeks later, you're here. So that's dope. So shameless plug, tell me about your podcast, tell me about everything I need to know, everybody needs to know so we could get more connected to you.
Plug time. First of all, social medias, Twitter, I'm not super active. I do tweet every now and then. But I do have a Twitter and Instagram. I'm a little more active on that, but still kind of not as super active.
I have a Twitter.
But that is, you can follow me pretty much on everything at I am Rob Campman, and that's Campman basically. So you can follow me on there. I host a show every Wednesday night on my Instagram, on my IG Live called Conversations.
You gotta invite me to that, man.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when this whole thing is over, obviously, I want to do a different vibe. But right now, with COVID and everything kind of going on the way the world is right now, I literally do it from my home, and I just reach out to friends of mine that I've had dope conversations with personally on the side, either the phone or in person, that I feel like is very educational, and I think people can learn from it. So we talk history. I've had Tim on. I did MC Jin, which was a super dope conversation.
Hey, shout out to Jin.
Yeah.
He's been liking me too, my stuff. Yo,
Shout out to Jin, man. That's my bro. Super dope. Me and him always have dope conversations, but it was cool to talk to him about how our careers were parallel.
I swear to God, you guys still look like you guys are 21. It's so weird. It's so crazy.
So yeah, every Wednesday night, man. Super, again, conversations on there. I do have an artist that I actually manage by the name of Abeck. You can follow him on Abeck Music. That's all his social media. He's got music coming out beginning of next year. I also have a younger producer by the name of July, the producer.
That's interesting.
That I also consult and kind of just, God, I've known him for a long time. He did a lot of my. And then, my latest project, Red Envelope, you could still check that out on, all the streaming sites. I got a record called New featuring Kevin Cossum in July. Tell Me still on there. Play those away, and yeah, that's about it,
Well, thank you, South. Can I call you South?
Yeah, that's
all right. Thank you, South. It's crazy because you're from and you know what? We're not going to get into that. But thank you for coming on to Afro-Asiatic TV. I appreciate you. Shout out to Matt Ills for showing me some love.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, shout out to Matt Ills. Matt Ills, I've known him and Just One. Shout out Just One too. But I've known them for probably 20 years, definitely.
Really?
They used to work at the store in the West Oaks Mall in Orlando, and I used to go buy clothes there. And we used to actually freestyle and rap. Those were like your freestyle time.
Like when you're in Austin coffee shop.
Not as much. And then I watched him grow and build his brand and get in and really do a lot of damage in that battle scene. And it's funny because back when I first started rapping, I was more like a battle rapper. When I started doing music, I had to learn how to become more of an artist, open up, be more vulnerable, and actually make music, which is tough. And but I always loved the battle scene, and to see where it's come. Matt Ills has a lot to do with that. So
for sure. Shout out to. We're gonna be working together, so I'm excited about that.
So
I've been friends with him for a couple years. Sure. He's been an amazing friend.
Super dope dude. That dude can rap about anything.
Heart of gold.
Yeah, but I mean, he like.
Bro, when his eyes roll behind his head when he's rapping, I'd be like, "Yo, is this Mark Anthony?" I'm like, you go front. I be telling him like, "Yo,
that's the rap beast."
Bro, when you be rapping, it's like.
The alphabet joint that he did was crazy. I was like, I don't even know. And when I watched that, I'm like, I definitely that ain't I can't do that. I don't want to be there. Because they be coming at you, bro. That battle realm,
man.
And you battle rap.
Bro, I'm not gonna get into that with you. I'm out of here. Peace out. Bye.